everybody, and welcome to Dear Dana. I'm happy to see you here. Today, we're shifting back. I was trying to get to this last week, and I decided to throw it on this week and make it about all of us and dive a little deep, maybe, and make it where it benefits everyone, right? We're going to be talking about being heard. It is a core need that we all really have, the need to be heard. That starts out when we're really small. And that core need often doesn't get fulfilled when we're small. Because a lot of times, if we go to our parents when we're small and we go, "Oh, I'm scared of that," our parents will go, "Oh, there's no need to be scared, honey." Or, "I don't feel good." They'll say, "Oh, you'll feel better," or "You're okay," or "Get up and brush it off." And it's not intentional oftentimes. They don't want us to build up anxiety or make it seem like it's worse than it is. But what it really amounts to when we're little kids, it kind of gets brushed off. Our feelings sort of get shoved to the side because we're small, we're learning communication skills, and it's just not taken that seriously. And we tend to carry it over because that core need is there. And it's there for a reason. So, among other things we're going to talk about tonight, let's get to it. Welcome to Dear Dana, and let's go to the intro. I'm so happy you're here. And here we go. I want to say hello to the people I see so far. Hello, Sean Mack. Hello, Fields of Grace 101. Please go check out her channels. She's got Southern, oh gosh, I can't remember now. It's Southern Style, well, what is it? Southern Fried and Gluten Free. I had a brain glitch. Southern Fried and Gluten Free. And she's just started Fields of Grace to talk about Christian and more inspirational things that are of interest in the social streets these days. Paranormal Witch. Hello, sweetheart. How are you? Hello, Black Lavender. Hello, Levon. Vintage Optimism. How are you? And there will probably be more that drop in. But, yeah. When it comes to not being heard, how many of you in the chat have had that problem where you feel like you're not really heard? Maybe you're a good listener. And your friends often are not just friends, co-workers, friends, strangers, often gravitate toward you and you listen well. You listen to their problems, you listen to their feelings, you listen to what might be bothering them, right? And you bring a source of healing to them. Maybe it's your energy. Maybe you listen well because you know how it feels not to be acknowledged in that way, not to have people show you that you're important by listening to you, by making you feel heard, right? And it's not about we have to be heard by everyone we encounter. It's more about the people that are important to us. Maybe it is your significant other. Maybe it's your bestie. Maybe it is a parent that makes you feel not heard. I just had this conversation today, and it's not all the time. Don't get me wrong, I have a good husband, but there are occasions And I'm sure I'm guilty. I'm not going to say that I'm not guilty. But there are occasions, like today, I was talking to him about something. Hello, Weeble, welcome. And all of a sudden, he's talking to the dog while I'm talking to him about something. And it frustrated me because I was talking to him about something that it wasn't world shaking, but it was a little important. And I just felt like, I'm communicating with you. And then you veer off and he goes, well, I'm listening. But I didn't feel her because his attention went elsewhere. You get what I'm saying? I feel like it's important that, we're guilty too if we stuff all of those feelings in of not being heard and we just let it roll in those relationships until it builds up and builds up and builds up. And we go, you don't care about me. You don't listen. I don't feel heard. I don't matter to you. It doesn't make a difference what I say. You only care about what you say. And those things build up. And that's why it doesn't matter if it's a friendship or a relationship or whatever. A lot of relationships end when maybe they did not have to. If it's abusive and etc., that's a whole different ball game. But if we don't make it clear what our needs are out of the gate, we are as guilty as the other party because we are stuffing it, maybe stuffing it in our shadow, but we're stuffing it and not communicating it until the cat blows, right? I might be a mind reader. I don't know. But, not everybody's a mind reader. And we sort of have to make relationship rules to those that are important to us. For all we know, maybe in their perspective, maybe they're feeling the same way. We don't know. We might think that we're doing a good job. We might think that. Levon says, let me blow it up. I feel unheard sometimes. That's why I became a writer and why I tend to scream without noticing. I get that. Now, I might be a little louder on here because I want to enunciate, but I tend to be a little more softer spoken, I guess. So I'll talk on the phone with my mom, and if I go, but mom, da-da-da-da-da-da, and I'm going, but I remember you said so-and-so, and I use just this tone, this exact tone. But mom, you said la 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 la. She will literally go, stop yelling at me. And I'm going, but mom, I'm not yelling. She goes, yes, you're yelling. You raised your voice. But in another world, people would go, you never get mad. You never raise your voice. You never yell. But to her, the tone you just heard, I'm yelling. You get what I'm saying? Which is kind of funny because, look, I have to be pushed in a corner to get really angry. I scare myself when I get that kind of angry because it's so far and few between. I scare myself. You don't ever want to see me that kind of angry. Look, you don't ever want to see an easygoing person that kind of angry. Trust me. Any of your friends are real easygoing? You don't want to see them angry. Hello, world of Winnie Mom. I'm glad to see you back. So, there's a lot of times when you have conversations or disagreements with people, and you might say, when you do so and so, blah, 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 blah. Or when you XYZ. The minute you say when you or you, the person you're communicating with has already shut down. Because you are already blaming them or putting them on the defensive by going, when you do this, or when you shut the door, or when you left this open, when you. The better way to go about it is, I feel this way when this happens. This is how I feel when XYZ occurs. People are more connected to feelings, and they're more open to listening when you're expressing feelings. I get you, Paranormal Witch. They're more open to hearing when you're expressing feelings. Now, my ex-husband, he could care less. If you're expressing, I feel this way, or I'm hurt, or whatever, he could care less. It was almost like, ooh, 10 points for me, shot. It might not have been that way in the beginning, but yeah, he was kind of that way. Which made me at some point, hello, JC Bear. At some point, I became so, what is the word that I want to look for? I wasn't passive aggressive. I was, I can't think of the word. At some point, I just wanted to get even with him. Does that sound terrible? At some point, I just didn't care anymore. And yeah, defensive maybe. At some point, I was just like, I know I told you guys this before. After I had Noah, it got to the point that he had gone to a party, and I knew in my gut. This is when he was going out on the road with Ozzy Osbourne and Prince and all those other people. But he'd come home at that point, and I knew in my gut he'd gone to a birthday party, and for some reason I knew he was going to get pulled over and get a DUI. I knew. Lo and behold, I got a call. He did. They wanted me to pick him up. I left him. I left him in jail. And by the time I did pick him up the next day, I knew it was over. And I knew I wanted to separate at that point. And so in my head, I started making plans of how to make this end. It took 3 years for it to entirely be over because he did not want it over. I had to plan to get a legal separation and trick him into it. I mean, it was a hot mess. I don't want to deviate. I was never really heard in that relationship, and I had to wake up. It took having a child, a handicapped child, to really wake up, because I cared a bit more about my child's needs than I did my own, because a smart woman can get brainwashed if there's been enough, abuse going on one way or the other. But, now I'm in relationships. I want to be heard. I want them to be heard too. But key number one, you have to ask yourself, am I listening as well? And I have to remind myself to step back, because I can get stubborn and think, well, they're not listening. But I have to remember, am I listening? Am I listening? Am I hearing them? So I want to ask everybody in chat, how many of you now in your adulthood, it can be, like I said, family, a partner, children, friends, do you have an important relationship in your life now where you do not feel heard? Yes or no? I'm asking the chat. And those that watch later, please comment below. Do you have any relationships in your life where you do not feel heard? Yes, yes. Hello, Marcy. Happy to see you. And if you are in those relationships now, yes. JC Bear says no. What do you feel the crux of it is? That the core problem is, without throwing anybody under the bus. But of course, none of us know them. But what do you feel it is? Okay, paranormal, you're saying your whole family, everyone in your family, there's nobody that you can connect with that hears you. Nobody that you feel hears you. So I'm going to ask you that first, the way you were raised. Now, my family of origin, I think it took me more into my adulthood. I got where I can talk to my mom some, but I got where I could talk to my dad and my little brother more. We hear each other more. Why do you feel like they think you're an idiot? That's my curiosity. They ignore you and think you're an idiot. Is that what they say to you? Yeah, I can understand that, paranormal. Sometimes family are the people we choose. They're not always the family of origin, but you get that, Willow. I'm going to call you Willow. Sometimes family are the people that we choose. Defensive. I can see family being defensive. Now, I've had certain people in my family, mostly my mom, still sort of try to, I'm older than Methuselah, and she still tries to tell me better ways to do things, how to do things sometimes. Sometimes she gives good advice, though. But that being said, now, paranormal, there's always one in the family. Unfortunately, in my experience, even in the best families, there's always one in the family that everybody wants to think they're doing better than. Hello, Miss Diana. Beautiful Diana always has a great energy about her. She's always so kind to me. I hate that for you, Willow. Well, where are you insofar as your energy and breaking from that mold of don't fall into the trap of seeing yourself as you feel they see you? That's the big catch. You can fall into that trap, and I know it's easy to do when it's family and you feel it's those people that you think are supposed to love you the most. Sometimes you do have to create that distance and reframe yourself and decide for yourself who you want to be, who you think you are, and you know what kind of mom you are. You're taking this on yourself, right? So you have to reframe how your future is going to look. Because this is your life. They're not living your life and having to deal with the stresses and the choices and everything. While we're living in this body right now, we have to drive this body, this vehicle, spiritually, the best way we can, right? No soul is driving it but your soul. So, a long time ago, I used to feel like you did and let it kind of beat me down. But, that's a lot of time wasted. That is a lot of time that we're giving and energy that we're giving to somebody else. We're going, here, take this piece of me, and take this piece of me, and take this piece of me. Take all these pieces of me. Oh, thank you so much, Diana. That's very sweet. Do we want to give all these pieces of us to other people? Do they deserve all these pieces of us? Like chunks? Hey, take another pound of flesh. Take all these pieces and pounds of flesh so I don't have anything to run on to live my life and take care of my kids and do my thing and chase my dream. Here, take all these pieces and pounds of flesh. Do they deserve that? Hell to the no, no, no. Regroup, baby, regroup. Find people that will hear you. First and foremost, find people that will hear you. If you love them, then that's where you start to take the tools of learning to hear each other. Well, then you look, to some degree, we all get an I told you so, because we do things sometimes knowing it could be a mistake, right? But we do it anyway. I had one of those. I did it anyway. So you learn from it. You learn from it and you move on. But if you love the person, if they're in your family, so if it's your kid, your mate, whatever, then you have to communicate with them. And you have to, be a little bit raw with them. And say, I feel this way when. I feel this way when. I feel unheard. So I would like to work on better ways to communicate. I want to be able to hear you when it's important and you hear me. Now, you don't have to be heard about every tiny bit of minutia, right? But when it's something very important, something that's emotional or heavy or happy going on in your life, you need to make like a keyword or a code word. I try distance and communicate. But also, this is also the thing. You need to look in the mirror and be honest with yourself and say, what is my part in this communication breakdown? And it can't be Nothing? Because you do have a part in it. How and why am I not being heard? When you're young, it's easy because someone's running your world and they're just not hearing you. They're pushing you to the side or they're not taking it seriously because you're a kid or you're young or they were not taught the importance of it. You know, so much of it is about mindfulness. Mindfulness. And, you know, my generation, other generations, we have to open our heart and learn mindfulness. It does not mean mindfulness is not always about it being peaceful. And it's not about control. It's about being aware, right? So mindfulness is about learning better communication with them. And mindfulness is also about looking at ourselves and being like way honest. So it's about looking in the mirror, like seriously looking in the mirror and going, okay, I need to be honest with myself and own certain aspects of the truth. In what way am I not communicating well? And in what ways do I have to own the breakdown of communication where I'm not heard? Right? What keeps me from being heard? Do I overreact? Do I yell? Do I pout? Do I get too emotional? Do I make them feel guilty? Do I not listen? Okay, you just don't want to be the black sheep of the family? Then you're not. Don't be. Don't allow it. Create distance. And do you, Willow. You will probably have to create distance and just focus on you and the kids right now. Right? And create goals and keep focusing forward and surround yourself with supportive people. And you might have to find them by going to church or going to a group or something. You hear me? But it means getting out of your comfort zone. You might have to, like, go to a mommy's group with the kids, or go to the park with the kids, or go to church with the kids, or join, like, a fitness group at the, at the Y or something. I don't know. Something out of your box that will start to open up your world little by little. And just focus on you and the kids and focus on your goals and love them from a distance and just let that stuff wash on off. Because you're not the black sheep unless you allow it to be, right? That's just their own stuff. Like I said, in every family, even in the best families, everybody wants to say, well, I did better than this sibling. Even if everybody's making $1 million and doing great, there's still going to be one that's not doing as great as the top one, right? Everybody's, you know how it goes. You know how it goes. Everybody's got their own gifts. We all love you, Willow. Look at all the love you get around here, right? And in other places. Nobody's sitting here thinking you're the black sheep. So you don't allow it. Don't allow it. Now, I've got notes. So if I'm looking down, that's fine. And I teach communication and stuff to teenagers. But I'm trying to up my game because we're all grown up here. And I'm going to drop the link soon because I really do want us to have discussions, right? And I do want it. This is a Ask Dear Dana night. I don't want it just to be about being heard. If you want to ask me other questions, or you have advice, or you just want to make statements, I want it to be open for that. It's a community night. It's a community night. Oh, yeah, and before I forget, because everybody doesn't always stick around to the end, and nobody made comments last week. I'm so close to my goal for June. I wanted it to at least be 250 subs. It's not yet, but my son Noah's birthday's coming up, so I want to honor him. I'm close to the number of subs. For those that don't know, I lost my little boy tragically, and his birthday is July 8th. Anyway, so for those that are subs only, you must be a sub. I will be doing a Zoom I may have to break it in two, but this is for all the subs. And I'll break it in 2 different weeks so I don't get tired, because I teach too. I will be giving you guys $120 value, guided meditation, and mine are kind of different. I will be giving you a free guided meditation. Like I said, mine are kind of different. And they make you feel really good, because I'm doing it and they make me feel really good. I will be doing a drawing, subs only, hypnosis. I'll do 2 drawings for hypnosis. And if you're interested in hypnosis, you need to put your name in the comments. You hear me? Also, guided meditation and hypnosis. Also, put your name in the comments. I'll be drawing for 1 reading. You might not realize I can do those. I don't officially do those for pay anymore because it's too draining. But I will be giving away a reading. I am an evidential medium and psychic, but I do not do that for a living or paid. But I will be doing a free one for a lucky winner. So if you're interested in any of those things for the hypnosis or guided meditation, I'll be giving away 2 hypnosis and a reading. Those are drawings, and I'll be doing guided meditation for everyone on Zoom, and we'll schedule it. So if you're interested, put your name in the comments. You have to put your name in the comments so I know who's interested. Got it? And you must be a sub. You must subscribe to the channel. I love you all. I put it last time in the end of the channel, nobody put anything down. So I'm trying it again. All of it's, I would normally charge $120 on up if I were in the office doing guided meditation or hypnosis, that is. So just letting you know. And when I get to 500, I'll also be giving away a Beachbody on Demand for a year. So anyway, let's get back to the subject. I just wanted to say it before I forgot at the beginning of the channel. Now, I want to give you some tips to be heard and for better communication. You sort of have to read the room with people around, knowing when to speak, right? You don't want to interrupt people. You need to know when to speak. You understand? So you kind of feel things out and find that gap. knowing when to be quiet. And these things are even when you're alone with that person that you want to be heard. Knowing when to speak and knowing when to be quiet, not stepping all over them and giving them anxiety or getting them frustrated. And when I say we've all done this, I'm guilty. Don't say you're not guilty. When you have been in an interaction with somebody and it gets a little tense and you really want them to hear you, or you guys are, maybe you had a disagreement or something, when they're talking to you, it's never good for you to be thinking about what you're going to say next when they're talking to you. How many are guilty of that? I am. Instead of really listening to them, I have been guilty of thinking about what I'm going to say next. That is not good. That is not really hearing them. People want you to feel what they're going through. Sometimes people just want you. Remember when I was talking about just holding space for somebody? Good, JC Bear, me too. When you just hold space for somebody, sometimes a person just wants you to go, man, that must have been really rough. I'm so sorry you had a hard day. I hate it when our bosses are coming down on everybody. Yes. When he says listening is a big part of communication and reading body language when possible. Soon, I will be doing a show, like a deep dive show, on body language. I teach a class on that to teenagers. The intricacies of body language. I love it when it's more forensic, when you can tell if somebody's guilty or lying. I like that part too. But, body language makes up like 80 to 90% of our complete communication. It does. So it's really important to embrace what a person's trying to communicate. Sometimes they don't want you to do anything. They don't want you to fix it. They don't want you to come up with all the answers. They just want you to be able to appreciate what they're feeling or sympathize even, right? Because think about it. If a bully, a kid or an adult for that matter, that would typically be a bully, actually felt heard by a significant other or a good friend, especially kids, right? If their parent really heard them at home, odds are they wouldn't go to school and bully the kid. Or odds are the adult wouldn't go bully somebody at work or worse. We could minimize a lot of that kind of behavior. We couldn't fix it all. But what if we could minimize a lot of aggressive behaviors in society just from the act of really taking the time to allow people to be heard? Just from simple acts like that. What if we could reduce aggression and violence in middle schoolers and teens by 70%? What would you say? We as a society and parents and on down need to impress upon others the importance of actually being heard. We need to impress upon our kids, our grandkids. I mean, I don't have grandkids yet, but you know what I'm saying. You get my drift. if we can start letting it cycle down now, I mean, J.C. Bear has nieces. I bet you he really listens to them when they start telling him things that bother him or stories about kids at school, etc. I try to do it with my students. Those simple acts can make a huge difference. We don't think about it, but it really can. Give your full attention to somebody when something is really bothering them. Maybe it's not important to you, but just the act of them being able to express it and get it off their chest, Lord have mercy. Just think of the health benefits. It even creates health benefits. Don't have an agenda when you are just really being present for a person. Just be curious and be there, right? Place attention on maximizing the other person's position when you're communicating with them. Maximize their position, even if you don't agree with it. And then you can state your case. Because if you maximize their position, you reduce their tension. And they're not as, to come after you. And they're hearing you. It's almost like you have to use reverse psychology when things get tenuous and you really need to be heard. You have to shift gears. A lot of times we're ready to go head first with somebody because you so want to be heard. But what we're really doing is we're getting the opposite of what we want. We're yelling louder, we're getting more frustrated, and we're getting the opposite of what we want. So I try to remind myself when I get frustrated like that, take a deep breath and go backwards. Go backwards. Not only will it surprise a person, but it gives you a moment to think and realize that you almost have to use reverse psychology and bring the calm and peace to get the calm and peace. You get what I'm saying? You have to bring the calm and peace to get the calm and peace. Yeah, hold on a second. I missed some of the comments. J.C. Bear said, sometimes it saves a lot of miscommunication. I always ask my friends when they call if they want my opinion or do they just need to vent. That is a very good one. When someone tells, I whisper. Yes, I'm about to drop the link here in just a moment. Yes, you can always clarify by standing back and say, what I heard you say is, can you tell I was a communications major? I love body language reading. I don't get that. They just ignore everything I say and go on with their day. Because some people don't have the skills, paranormal or Willow. Some people just don't have the skills. Or sometimes it's just ignorance. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's just pure ignorance. I'm going to drop the link now. There's the link. I need to take a drink of lemonade. We give what they need. We try to give what people need and nothing more, right? And JC Bear made a very good point. You ask people what they need. Don't give your opinion unless they ask for it. I've gotten in trouble in the past for giving an opinion that was not asked for. Well, it says, I have not gotten what did she say? I haven't gotten therapist yet, and my insurance doesn't approve for a therapist, so my family are telling me that I don't need one and deal with it on my own. Maybe you should go to social services and ask about a therapist. Hello, Winnie.
Hi, how you doing, Dana?
I'm good. How are you? Maybe you should go to social services.
Oof,
Okay,
I'm
you
sorry.
might need to cut down the other one.
Thank you. He did it. How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. I've been better, but I felt so bad for Paranormal Witch talking about the therapy issues. Could you tell me what state she's in?
I don't remember what state
Does
she's in.
anyone know? Because I know here in Florida, because I used to be a teacher, social worker, in my community, I worked with so many people that did not have health insurance, couldn't get therapy. And actually, there's a lot of places within your own communities that will offer some kind of counseling, sometimes peer-to-peer counseling, like maybe they have a group where there's another person that's going through a divorce and they'll get together and you can kind of counsel and get together with them. There's churches. We had a program here called Brevard Cares in Brevard County, and they actually offered free services. I mean, if you had a child under the age of 18, they would actually provide wraparound services. And that's what I did. I worked with families, did care planning, and we actually connected them to community resources that they did not have to pay for. So there are agencies out there. So
I've tried to guide her with that before. And I was telling her if she would go to social services, a lot of times they will give her the community references to go to help her.
Yes. Here they have a hotline number in Florida where you go like to 211 and they have a website online. So say you wanted DV counseling, which we know domestic, violence. And if you needed that, you would just call the number or look online and they would actually connect you. They'll do like a little, if you don't really know what you're doing online, you can call them, talk to the operator and just say, da, 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 this is my situation. And they will connect you to something or a program that does the connecting. So I know in Florida, I mean, that's a big deal. And we have helped so many families. And I know you just need to really check. I don't know, Texas, but I know they cut so many services with the funding and stuff. So much stuff has been cut. It's disgusting. But there are places in the community that you can look and you shouldn't give up. And definitely, I love what Dana said about like going into, some groups, like finding some things that you're interested in and getting into those community groups. We actually used we used our community center here and they would have like for like $10, you could have like a Friday night date night and the kids, they all knew each other. They knew the counselors and you could go out and hang out. And I mean, we just did everything there. Easter egg hunts, da, da, da. And then my son worked there. I mean, so it was amazing. So and just want to motivate her. Don't give up,
Yeah. A lot of times if you get connected with a church that you resonate with or a facility, let's say that she connects with a community center even, like you said. A lot of times they may have an in-house counselor that work with families.
Yes. And just like the community centers, like we also had like a civic center and like an auditorium, all those places that do like other classes like karate or bowl, whatever they do, basketball and all that. They also have classes where they'll have like little counseling things or get-togethers. And that's where you can get that information is at your community center locally. And nowadays with the internet, it's so much easier to reach out, to others. I'm in a couple online support groups for my brain cysts that I have, so it makes it, but that's been very helpful to me just to be in a group with people that are going through so many similar things and it's amazing how much support I get from that. And of course, you, Dana, I get a lot of support from you
Oh,
and
thank
all
you.
your chat. They're so wonderful.
Thank you. Oh, and you just brought that up. That's a very good point, Willow, because when Noah passed away, we went to something local, but it was too soon, really. And then I looked online and I was fishing through groups, and I'm still connected to, and this isn't for you, Willow, but I'm still connected to a great group. And you met Brian Smith, Helping Parents Heal Online. He does the Grief to Growth. That's how I met him. But if you look on Facebook, even,
Yep.
there are some great support groups of people going through the exact same thing you are, that have a lot of resources in the groups that are connected to different states. You would probably definitely do well looking there.
And they're very willing to help. And that's the thing. If they have a way, I mean, sometimes there'll be like a therapist or counselor in there though that's willing to like, look, I see what you're going through. Hey, I'm willing to talk with you. Or I know so and so, or let me connect you with this person. So it's so like we now are, there's only like 15 doctors that do the surgery, brain surgery I need. So they go back and forth and they're telling which doctors and how it happened, what happened post-op and what the expectation is. So it makes it really helpful with these online communities. I mean, Facebook, it's amazing how easy it is to actually have people listen and support you.
Yeah.
Well,
So anyway, we're here, but Willow. I just don't. It's hard for me to call it paranormal. Willow, start with Facebook, look there, and then look local and start making some calls. You will find something, I promise you.
yes.
And then
definitely make sure you vote and support, what I did with my job, that program I told you about, that was so wonderful.
Yeah.
We had to go and beg. We had to go to Tallahassee, to the state capital of Florida, and fight with representatives that didn't think what we did was beneficial to families. And actually, my program, there was 1,500 kids in foster care when I was in it. But by the time our program had been around for like 2 years, there was only 750 kids in foster care because we had stabilized the families and children no longer needed to go. We had supportive services in and what they needed and got them back on track. And we're talking everything from severe, mental health issues to, major trauma, all of that. So there are good programs out there, but people need to realize there's a huge need for them too, and not to just, discount them. They do a lot of good work.
See, I'm the type of person, when something's going on around me, I'm like, there's an answer. I'm going to find it. And I just do.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I'm saying? I don't stop until I find what I need or what the resource is. So this week, Willow, I want you to start doing the work. But if you need additional help, I'm going to ask you for the city and I'll try to assist you, okay? But I want you to start doing the footwork. There is help somewhere around you.
If you want it, you can get it.
Yeah.
You definitely can. I was stubborn for a while. When I first got sick, I didn't want to deal with everything. And I thought, I really was like, I thought, I'm going to be back to work. I'm going to be like, whatever. It's like I was in a little bit of denial about what I was going to be able to do. And I just couldn't, and people were not hearing me. Just to come back to what you said, it was like people that knew me my whole life. I talk super fast. My brain's always and I'm very, high strung, I guess. And I'm funny, but I'm very hard worker, and I've always worked with children or at-risk families, and that's what I've always done. And so it was like they didn't hear me when I went in and said, listen, I can't do the 75 hours a week that I've been doing running this program. I can't, the expectation was still the same until I finally was like, this is literally killing me. And it's weird. It's like it's like, oh, it's Amy. She'll just, like click my fingers and I'm going to be that 100% person they thought I was. And again, that was their perception of me. Because inside, I always felt like, I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. But I was anything I did, I succeeded, but I had such a narcissistic type mom. She was so self-absorbed. You tried and tried and tried to get, attention. Some of my siblings did it negatively, some did it positively, some just took off. I mean, I have siblings I don't even talk with. I haven't talked to one of my siblings in over 25 years.
Wow. But it seems like you were always trying to prove yourself, even though you felt that way.
Oh, yeah. And then they were all like, you're a brat, you're a baby. And it's like they weren't listening to me. My relationship with my mom was different than they had. There's a huge age gap. I have 5 people in my family, and the closest in age to me is 8 years older than me.
Wow.
And so they had a different experience, and they saw me, what they thought was, and their perception was, you have all this freedom. You do whatever you want. My perception, and what it really was neglect. I was not being looked after. I was being left alone. My mom would go to bingo and leave me in the car. And I would be in Florida in a hot car by a graveyard. That's where I would sit. And it was like, and then I had my family. They didn't listen to me. I'm like, it's not the way you think it is. I would try to talk to them. And in their mind, it was like, look what she's got. Look what she's doing. And look at this. And her and mom or this or that. And it was the most toxic relationship in my life, was my relationship with my mom. And she was toxic with all of us, but they thought no matter what I said, I felt like I could have a neon sign saying, this is not what you think. And they didn't get it. And I took care of her, me, and being sick with my brain disease, 9 years now. My mom passed away in 2018. Me and my boyfriend were the ones caring for her. We would go over, pick her up off the ground, all of that. And I had to cut her off emotionally 7 months before she passed away. And to pay me back for my kindness and stuff for the years, my mother, who she completely cut me out of her will, and I got absolutely nothing. And the money I could have got for that, I'm not saying I cared about the money. I told her I don't care, but she was just so petty at the end. She changed her will 3 times. And 2 weeks before she died, she changed it again and cut me completely out, which definitely could have helped me at least partially fund my surgery. And my family, they're just like, whatever. They don't even listen to me about my illness. So it's very difficult. I literally had to cut off 2 members of my family completely, and then my mother at the end, because it was such a toxic relationship. It was like I was trying to have healthy communication with someone who was not healthy and was unable to communicate. So it was very difficult. And I tried to set those good boundaries. I was in therapy, and my therapists were like, look, you don't have to go over there at Mother's Day. You don't have to, you can write a letter. You can do this. I was the one child that every holiday, my mom spent every holiday with me, and up until she passed, those 7 months when I cut her off. And I called my sister and I said, congratulations, you're the favorite now. Good luck. Good luck to you. You all wanted this big trophy of our mother. Now you're going to see. And let me tell you something. It was a rude awakening, because no one else had dealt with her. They would just send, like, here's a check, or something. And we lived closer. So we were the ones picking her up off the floor, cleaning up the urine, taking care of her as best we could. She was very narcissistic, very selfish and stubborn. I mean, she was just stubborn. We had nurse care in there. She wouldn't take it. And you felt like you were talking to the wall. And after a while, I couldn't take it. My own son came in. He just said, Mom, every time you're on the phone with her, you're sobbing. You get off sobbing and crying. You stop doing. My teenage son was telling me, stop doing this to yourself, Yeah. And I finally listened. And then 7 months later, she died. And we had no communication at all. I didn't even attend her memorial service because I could not. It would have been such a not good situation with my family, because no one wants to tell the truth in my family. They all just want to pretend stuff doesn't happen and like that. And I would have been a truth teller that day. So I made the choice. I saw my mom privately, and I did not go and attend the memorial. Because sometimes communication, I knew if I had gone there, what you said about you don't want to see me when I'm angry.
Yeah.
I felt in my soul, I had to look at myself very hard and say, Amy, if you go there, is this going to be the best thing for everyone?
Right.
And it was hard, but I didn't go. But the ironic thing was they put up this huge poster board thing, and my children went with my boyfriend. They went and attended, and I did not go. But all the pictures up on the board, except for, I would say, like 85% of the pictures were of my mother with me and my family.
Wow.
And so it's just weird. It was a very toxic, weird relationship, but communication is so important. And in my life, I decided when I have my own family, this is not how it's going to be.
Right.
And we've worked really hard on communication, and I'm very proud of my children. And like I said, my own son, my teenager, knew this is toxic. This is hurting you. He knew to come to me and communicate to me. And he did clearly. He said, this is hurting you, Mom. You need to stop.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he did. He's actually the reason I did finally stop like kicking myself in the head, over and over and over. You can only take a gut punch so many times. And sometimes you have to realize you can do whatever, but you can't expect them to be something they're not going to be.
Right.
They're not going to, you can communicate everything as beautifully as we all have learned in school, or the best way to do it. But some people just, unfortunately, for whatever reason, maybe mental health or just pure stubbornness, narcissism, personality disorders, whatever, they're incapable of hearing you. And it's hard, but you have to figure out who those people are and then make a decision on what kind of boundaries you're going to set with them.
Yeah.
Because it will eat you alive. I mean, literally. And my health is, not great. And it's been very hard because I'm the keeper of all the problems in my family. I'm the listener. I'm the one that listened to everyone else and took on their stuff, but They don't hear me. My siblings couldn't tell you my favorite color.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how much they listen to me. So
that's why it's important. Like, it sounds like your family listens to you. For the most part.
Yeah, they're not great. And I see so many people going through the same things. I mean, even in the chat, the people talking, and it just breaks my heart,
That's why we have to look at especially when we've gone through the pandemic, right? We have to really regroup and forget. Of course, we need a roof over our head, food in our mouth, etc., and goals and things to look forward to. But we really need to take the time to regroup and look at what is important to us at our core, at our very core. And start there by making a change. Because like I said, if we make a change just with being heard and listening and working on just basic communication with the people that are important to us, that matter, right?
Right.
The ones we love, that we know we can make a difference with, like your teenager, like your significant other, the ones that we can do something with. That will trickle down, to other people.
And we need to teach these kids how to communicate. I mean, the children, we need to, set good, be a good role model. And it's very difficult because my family, like so many in the world, believe me, I don't think I'm special in this way, so dysfunctional. And I knew that. And when I had children, I almost didn't allow my mother to be in their life. I literally had to think like, what's the, pros and cons of this situation? But I sat down with her and I discussed the rules of what that would look like so that she understood clearly what I expected from her as a grandmother. And, she broke that, what the result would be. We cleared that up day one. And then, that she heard, because when it comes to kids, anyone's kids, I'm super protective. I'm an advocate for children. I'm like, don't do something wrong to a child within, 100 feet of me. Yeah. So my mom knew I meant that. And she did in the beginning when they were little. She was very good. I didn't have a good relationship with my grandparents, and I wanted my children to have their extended family.
Yeah.
And it was important. But, they got older and they were able to communicate more, she
Yeah.
started to be toxic with them.
Yeah.
And it was really sad. But both of them, my son came to me directly and talked to me about what was going on and how he felt about it. And I'm really proud of him. He's 25. He's going to be 25 July 10th, close to your son's birthday, my son Andrew. And he went through a lot of challenging things. And I'm just so proud, to see him communicating and having better and healthier relationships than I did.
Right.
I was so scared that you don't want to pass on. I'm the one kid in my family. I'm not saying I'm the best or perfect. God, no, we all make mistakes. We're all human. But I was so set on, I am going to learn everything I can about child development, being a mother, because I didn't get it. I didn't get it at home. So
Right.
I learned that. And then I also set my sights on, when I switched my major over to communications, and I learned how to communicate. And it was very important to me to actually not just, read or whatever, to actually really learn the skills. Because in my family, it's everyone has a role, and this typically happens in a family. You've got if you have several kids, well, he took the straight A student role, the good kid, and then you got the joker, or you got the troublemaker, and then it's everyone's looking for their role. And I did not want my family to reflect what I'd gone through. And I'm proud to say that it is better. And that's all you can ask for, is that your kids, that they're doing better, they're learning better, and that also pushes forward into this new generation.
Right.
Because communication's so changed now. It's hard for me when I text. What makes it difficult for me, I'm a very hands-on speaker. I use my hands. That nonverbal is huge with me. And I'll text something and it's a joke. And that they don't know my inflection and my tone or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it would be they think I'm serious because I didn't write LOL. I'm I'm very sarcastic. So that's a communication gap, because if you don't know and I forget, new people don't know my personality. Right. So if I don't communicate to you, I'm sarcastic as hell. Don't take everything I say, I have to make sure I'm constantly writing LOL, stuff like that, because communication's changing now, and it's harder to be heard clearly at times.
True.
And that's a stumbling block I'm having is, wow, my personality doesn't always show through in texting. So it's better to do, once I'm braver, it'll be better when I can see someone face to face, like Zoom or whatever. But definitely this, even though I'm still using my avatar, it's because I look like I haven't slept in a year. But
please.
Trust me. And I've cried a lot today. I have to admit, I did a lot of crying.
I'm sorry.
But sometimes it's good, but
yeah,
it's something I go through, and I know lots of people do. And some people don't ever talk about it. And with me, many people don't see this side of me. They only saw the funny, happy, whatever, energetic side. They don't know. And I'm I won't show them this real side of me. It's very difficult. So.
And, we can't rationalize with someone that's irrational. And when it's your mother, the one that gave birth to you, it's the hardest thing in the world. But it sounds like, you still have a lot of hurt from it. And it's going to take a while to release, because it's so enmeshed in the fact that regardless of how much narcissism and pain, still your mother. It's all balled up in one thing. So I understand what you're saying, and I'm so sorry that you had to go through all of that. I really am. And I get it. I do get it.
Yeah, I know. And I think a lot of people get it. And I'm glad to see that, channels like yours that will cover things that are actually helping people and are beneficial. I mean, I like having the fun on some of the other channels and joke around, but you also need, a place where we can all come together, a good community, and support each other, because we're all in this together. We're in the human race. We're in it together.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about your channel. It's very positive. And when I do start mine, I'm hoping to do parenting topics. I'm going to do like story time with kids and do what I used to do when I was teaching and circle songs. And I do a lot of that. And also, talk about real things too.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a great thing. And you have been a total inspiration for me, Dana. You really have.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I think you inspire a lot of people. I really do. And I've seen so many people talk about you. And when I first found your channel, I can't remember where it was from, but I was led to you and it was just amazing. I thought this is a wonderful, wonderful channel. And the vibes you put out, that's so true. The vibe, what was it? The vibes,
Your
the
a
vibes.
body strikes your tribe.
Yes, that's exactly true. That is exactly true. I love it.
I appreciate it. I mean, I don't know that I am a niche yet.
Yeah.
Everybody has a niche. I don't know what you call this. I'm finding the way. I just hope people, you know, find the way here that need more information, that need some healing, that need more understanding. There's a lot of, I enjoy, I'm on some of the channels with my friends. I enjoy being a little shady or laughing or whatever.
Right.
But I also know that we've had so much pain going on and negativity, and even on YouTube for that matter,
Yes, yes, yes.
that we need a place to go that we can be a little more positive and maybe find a way to put our pieces back together.
And the way people have been living in the pandemic, I just want people to understand I've lived that way for 9 years. Like everything that people like, you don't go out and that's how I live. Now that's just me. And I'm not as sick as some people that are completely, this is how they live their everyday life and have been living it that way forever. And I think it was a good lesson in a way for people to think about, what it's like, to be so isolated. And I had realized how much I isolated my own self, just punishing myself and blaming myself. And I thought, that's when I reached out to YouTube. I literally did it like, I think in January is when I actually started coming on YouTube and watching, funny things and then finding, channels like yours. I was so motivated and I thought I would really love to be able to do this. And that's why I think, well, I'm going to try to do my own channel, but I'm definitely nervous about that. But like I said, you're such an inspiration for that. And people need to be able to have something like this. They really do. And in this day and age, it's so easy now. Why aren't we giving more positive messages out there? I'd rather spend my time, I love to laugh and have fun and be shady too with the housewives or whatever. But it's nice to have a place to have some positivity, and we all need to fill up on that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm worried about people a little bit as everybody starts being able to unlock and go out, what's going to happen, because people don't realize the effect it's had on them.
It's so penned up. And yeah, yes, I didn't realize, I mean, this is going to sound ridiculous probably, but I did not realize how affected I was, even you, because I know I wrote you like a novel, but I was so affected. I was so affected by like two or three YouTube channels affected me so deeply. And the chat, the first person who responded to me in a chat the first time, I sobbed.
Oh,
I was crying my eyes out. I thought, someone's talking to me. I only see 2 human faces a day, maybe.
wow.
So when the first person reached out to me, I was like, oh my God. And I didn't know YouTube could do I didn't know any of that. I knew nothing. And I used to just watch, and then and then I realized you could send cash apps. So I would send them into my favorite ones. And then I saw people calling in. I'm like, I don't even know how to do this. So then I called into someone's channel, but they didn't have StreamYard. But that was a lot of fun. It was a cut up channel. We were reading people, like reading them down.
Yeah.
And that was fun. And then I finally got brave enough to literally call in. And it's not like I used to sing in front of people. I used to sing locally. I have been on stage. I have performed. It's not like I have stage fright. So
Right.
those 9 years of me being so isolated did change me a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I so you know, I thought, am I starting to get, I can't remember, I get brain fog a lot. I can't, what's it called when you don't want to leave your house?
Agoraphobia.
Yeah. I was like, I started to think, am I becoming agoraphobic? Like, I literally, even before the pandemic, I'd only left the house maybe, well, my 3 neurologist appointments and, or 4, and then maybe 3 times the whole year.
Understandable.
It's
But
crazy.
maybe you're going to start breaking out of your box. Maybe you're getting a little braver, because I do understand that, I, once upon a time, I did not know that there were a lot of lives on YouTube. And then I found one channel, and then I found Up and Adam, and
Yeah,
became
up and out.
I became a part of that community. And then I would go on with Adam and Shannon and some of the others, and we start pulling housewives apart and Bravo channels apart and stuff like that. And Adam encouraged me and Shan and some others to start a channel. And I put it off, and I put it off, and I put it off. And then I started this one after Valentine's. And, I found that a lot of people during the pandemic said they did not know that there were live communities out here, and that it really saved them and helped them
Yeah.
during
I
the
had no
pandemic.
idea. I didn't even look at YouTube. I thought, oh, that's cats and kids and whatever, you know. So I really didn't utilize it. And then I started looking up some meditations and things on YouTube. And then I realized, oh, well, what about, and they started suggesting things and housewives. I was like, wait, I like housewives. And I found Up and Adam. And I always watched them, but I did not, the first time I called in was like 3 weeks ago. I had never even entered a chat room, and like a month ago was the first time I entered a chat room. I only watched. I didn't even engage in the chat.
Vintage says, I felt the same way, and now I look forward to Dana days. The
See?
forum feels like a family to me, and I've been stuck at home with my parents for a year. In here, Vintage says it's the first time she came on live. Oh, by the way, Vintage, do you have any pictures of the wall with the kids to show us? By the way, do you? I would love to see, or any stories about what's going on with the wall. In the Bronx, we raised money to get art supplies for the kids in the Bronx, because they have a butterfly garden that Vintage works in, and they were doing a wall with stencils, and the kids were going to come out and paint them, after the pandemic and stuff.
Mhm.
So we raised money to help with that, so they could just come out and do their thing.
That's so awesome.
So I'm hoping to get to see some more art. Vintage optimism.
That hint, hint.
Where is it? And I also dropped the link to see if any more people want to ask questions, share stories, because originally part of my thought process was Dear Dana would be like an updated version of Dear Abby. People would write in with their problems,
Oh my God, that's exactly what I thought when I saw Dear Dana.
and people
We're
kind
too old.
of they don't get the drift.
Well, I think that ages us a little. All I saw Dear Dana, and that's what I thought. Dear Abby, like Dear Abby, and you write in, and they give you answers. Oh
Well,
my
I
God.
mean, I put the thing you can write in with problems. I'm a therapist. I'll give you advice. Nobody. Vintage says, I have pictures of the kids painting them.
Oh,
I want to see, Vintage. Can you put it up to the camera? I would like to see.
yeah, yeah.
And also, how are how is everybody, like, in general, doing? Have you been dealing with anything lately that you just want to talk about? Oh, and I want to say, I found out, I saw an interview with Britney Spears' brother, and he was talking about her perfume, all of her perfume line. She owns the right to all of it.
Wow.
Worldwide, it has made $100 billion.
Oh my God.
When asked where that money has gone,
Oh
The
no.
brother has just said it's complicated.
It's complicated.
Yeah. So basically, he can't say anything, is what it amounts to.
That's crazy. That is insane to me. It is so sad. That situation is so annoying and infuriating to me. I just, all these stories of parents that have talented children and then like put them in Mickey Mouse Club or force them to dance and sing and they become famous and huge stars and then, manipulate that money either before they're 18 or this whole conservatorship. Oh my goodness. It's so sad to me because their childhoods were, pretty much taken. And then her life now, she's an adult, but being treated like she's a child. I
Come,
just, oh,
come
when you're
on
a
up,
child, you're an adult. Now you're a child.
come on up, JC Bear. I see you. I see you. I
Yeah.
say, I see you, JC Bear. I see you, vintage. Yes,
Hey,
and also, um, she did put through the conservatorship. Diana, you need to come up one day, girl. I know you're just gorgeous. I see you. I see you too, Diana. You are beautiful. I don't know why you don't come up live. Anyway, she did put through the conservatorship. He asked for more money, the dad, so he could have someone do some, you know, get some help so he could get some help with
the
publicity.
the PR person,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
He
yeah,
was
yeah.
using the money for PR. Again, that's so frustrating. So frustrating. When these people that aren't even appropriate parents, he wasn't an appropriate parent when he, you know what I mean, before, and now she's an adult and you're supposed to be the appropriate person to make decisions for her.
I don't
Wah,
think
wah.
I don't necessarily think her mom is bad. I don't know everything.
Yeah, I don't either, but I don't hear her. That's all I know. I don't, I never hear a lot about her saying, anything major. I haven't really heard a huge defense or
Yeah.
if there is, I haven't. But I'm not, I'm not saying I'm the most in touch. Gosh, you all know I'm isolated.
I mean,
But
we don't know every piece of everything. I just know uh, there's a lot going on. I mean, that is a lot of money.
yeah, and I mean, complicated. Yeah, you know what would be complicated? It'd be, this is just a joke, everyone, but it'd be complicated where the body was hidden if I if I had that situation.
Yeah. How
I
are
mean,
you,
that's
Mr. JC Bear? Long time no
Oh,
see.
yes, I'm doing fine. We're finally going into stage 2 up here.
What does that mean?
That means barbershops, hair salons are open, outdoor patios, 25% are open. Um, Outdoor fitness is open with social distancing. Summer camps are open. Public pools are open. Grocery stores and essential businesses can have 50% capacity. Non-essential businesses can have 25% capacity. So,
Wow.
so we're getting there. But this is what I want. I wanted to ask you guys in the chat something.
Okay.
We've been in this situation for like almost, over a year and a half.
Yeah.
And now my social calendar is starting to get, oh, let's get together because tomorrow's Canada Day.
Yeah.
So we're off, and I took Friday off to make it extra long. And I'm getting these invites to go out, and I'm thinking, God, I just, do you want the energy to like get dressed, get all fixed up, be able, and I'm like, okay, why am I fighting this so much?
I know, right?
you got
It's like,
comfortable.
yeah, I mean,
You
I don't
just
know
got
if
comfortable.
I don't know if anybody else is going through this because you guys in the States have opened up well ahead of us. But it's like, I'm thinking, oh, all that energy. And then I get to trim back the Yeti beard and, I'm like, I don't, it's like, this is so much easier now. And I'm like, but I know I have to do it, but I just gotta how do I convince myself like it's worth the energy to go out? Like once I'm out the door, I think I'll be fine.
You don't want
But
to end up like me and 9 years later be in your room and be like, oh, I wish I had gone out. If you can go out, you should do it. I mean, take that first step, because if I could do the things I used to do in my life, I would be doing them right now. So if you have an opportunity to, I know you got comfortable. Everyone wasn't shaving or, getting dressed.
Oh,
That's how I live every day. So it's fine for me. But I think if you can go out, I think you should take that first step. I know I wish I could do that. So
no, I know, like in my heart, yeah, it's like I want to go to brunch this Friday with the group of friends that are meeting up that we're allowed to. But when I think about it now ahead of time, I'm like, oh,
uh,
like yeah, I'm like, okay, I better make sure that I've done my laundry. So I got my favorite T-shirt and jeans and all that, and I'm like, but I don't have to do laundry. Like that's what I mean. It's like, okay, what are a couple of things I can convince myself? Yes, get my ass up and out the door. Sorry.
because you'll get stuck. I mean, you don't want to get stuck. You got to just, to my opinion, and I'm not Dana, and I'm talking a lot, but I'm lonely. But listen, I think you definitely can get stuck, in that motivation. Because, like I said, for me, I wasn't like this, and it's hard for me. Even the days I feel better, I'm like, oh, what's the point, But I think you just need to convince. You don't want to get stuck and not be, think about all the good things, that you can be doing too, having that fun and interacting. I would try to think of the good things, not about the little tedious things.
but
Think about the
it's like
reward.
around here you could get the food at your door, get the
Yep.
groceries sent to your house.
The
All
liquor.
yeah, all of a sudden it's like, hey, everything's coming to the house.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, I guess my boyfriend really does great and takes care. We've been together 19 years. He's like my home healthcare worker. I mean, he works full time, but he cooks dinner every night, brings it to me in bed. I mean, the guy's awesome. So I'm already spoiled that way. In Florida, they didn't care. They're like, whatever's open. So,
Yeah.
which was disgusting. But we had masks and whatever when we got and all that. But I'm waiting for my second vaccination, so I'm excited about that. It was so
Oh,
easy.
I got mine yesterday, so
Oh, good for you. I'm so proud because it was so easy and people made such a big deal. And I was like, okay. And then I said, am I magnetic now? And the guy was laughing.
I got my second one and it kicked my butt. So,
Really?
yeah.
I guess I got I have to say the first one, it hurt a little bit in my arm, but I thought I was going to be like, it's hard. My symptoms seemed a little bit aggravated, but I was just excited to have it and, hey, get it over with.
But my mom took hers and it didn't affect her at all.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
just
good.
I'm just a little tired. I mean, that's it so far. Knock wood. But they actually made it quite easy. It looked like when I went, I thought there's this massive amount of people. Once you got registered, you were in and out in a half hour.
JC Bear, Marcy wants to know when the borders are going to open.
I know that they're still closed till July 22nd, unless you are going on unless you're working across the border, or you can prove it's for business purposes. But here's the thing: it's all the afterwards complications. I don't know if in the States, like now they've kind of lessened it a bit, where you don't have to stay at a government authorized hotel for 3 days until you get tested at your own expense. And I don't know what they're going to impose once they do open it, whether you have to prove that you were fully vaccinated to even go into the States. Like for us to go down to the States, I don't know what the policies are going to be. So we're kind of just waiting to see. But right now they're still closed till July 22nd.
Gotcha.
At least, yeah, up here in Ontario, we're finally opening up to stage 2, even though our vaccine rates, by rights, we should be in stage 3, but they're stalling. But at least it's the next step, and everybody is very happy about that. So I won't look like a Yeti, so maybe Saturday, if I can get my hair cut, you'll see me live.
Oh, you want to go out and flirt and everything like that, JC Bear.
Oh, I do. It's just that hurdle of, I don't know. It's like that energy, and I don't know whether maybe I acquired a little bit like either laziness or what, because I go out for my essentials with no problems. but I don't know. Maybe I'm just so used to you guys. Like I plug in and boom, you're there.
Yeah. And you
So,
love us. You're
oh, I do.
afraid. You're afraid it's going to be like, oh, I barely see my friends on YouTube anymore.
Well, no. If I am out, I'll just call in via my phone and go, "Hey, look at where I am at."
Okay. Vintage, send them here instead.
I want to see pictures of Canada for sure.
Oh, these aren't Canada, but
No, I'm
Oh
talking.
yeah,
He
but I
said he
will.
would send in pictures.
Oh yeah.
JC Bear was like, he'll be out. I want to check. Yeah, do that. I would definitely want to see that.
Oh,
I have some
I'd call in
French
live.
Canadian.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, I would be so excited to see that.
can you send them here, Vintage, please?
Did you say you had French Canadian?
Yes. On
Oh, so
my
you're Quebecois.
not great
Quebecois
though.
side.
Yes, my father had French Canadian and Italian, and then I'm Norwegian and Polish. So I'm a mix, 25% of each.
Voulez-vous c'est quoi?
So, but
No, no,
was he from Quebec, the Eastern Townships, or more New
I don't.
Brunswick, Nova
I'm
Scotia?
not. I'm not sure. I don't know where he was one of there was 13 12 kids in his family, and I
Oh
don't
God,
know
yeah.
his side of the family that well because I think it was the grandparents or whatever. I don't know, something like that. But she was a little woman, and I guess she was just this like funny, pistol type of person. But it's
Oh God,
interesting
yeah.
with all those kids. I was like, oh my goodness. So I've only met maybe 5 of my father's family at all. So
Oh, you have a huge extended family then.
yeah, but not real close. Actually, the YouTube family is more my family.
Well, my mom came from a family of 8, so
Wow.
I hear you. I hear you.
That's
Oh,
nice.
don't worry. I'm gonna have the beard all trimmed up and all that. So it's actually a full beard. So the goatee is gone. So it'll be interesting when you see me on Saturday.
When I shave my beard, I definitely will show my picture. I have to shave my back and my beard and all the rest of my facial
Lord have
hair.
Sure.
My armpits, I'll make sure they're not braided. And, maybe I'll come on eventually.
Well, let's put it this way. I have more hair on my beard than I do on my head. So it's all good. It's all good.
Y'all are so crazy. Okay, I'm
He
gonna
has a
see.
nice shaped head. Perfect for baldness.
I'm gonna see if y'all can see these pictures she sent.
Yay.
Okay.
It's a little hard. We'll see. It's in my email. Okay.
We post them on IG too?
I'm gonna try to. Look,
Okay.
I might have to get my daughter to help me. You know how that goes.
Oh yeah, honey.
Well, she helped you with blurring out that segment that you had.
She helped me blur out the pee-pee.
My son said he'd help me. He goes, I'll help you, Mom, do your little thumbnails. And I'm like, good. I don't even know what I'm doing.
Okay, here it is. Let's see. Okay, let me see if I can blow it up. Can y'all see?
I see a little guy and a table.
It's
yeah.
girl. Oh,
Or
crap.
is that a little girl?
Woo, now we see all your emails and
Get off my email, girl. Okay,
oh,
let's try it again. Let's see if we can blow her up. It's a little girl doing some work. Okay, what is this, Vintage? Well, she's not online. Okay, there's Vintage with 2 kids with gloves on. You look like the lunch lady, Vintage. What is on your head?
Yeah, you got to come up and explain what's the cap you're wearing out there.
All right, Vintage, I need to bring you up so you can explain. Come on up, Vintage. Vintage, come on up. Please.
Oh, it's okay. Shades heads are in. Half the models wear them like that.
Okay. Let me see if I can go back now. I don't want to. Oh, what did I do? Okay, let's go. There's 2 kids out there. Okay, they're painting.
Describe them to us, Dana. Describe them.
Okay, they're down on the bricks, painting purple and orange. Uh, I think they're painting butterflies, but well, it looks like little butterfly stencils, purple and orange. I can't really tell. There's a little girl with an orange bow in her hair and purple tennis shoes. I'm assuming that's vintage. Okay, I hear somebody.
Oh, Diana, are you Diana from when we modded in Up and Adams chat? Like you're in Toronto as well? Oh, your hair. Yeah, you shaved your head. Oh.
Well, I shaved my head like 2 months ago. It just grows really fast.
Okay,
Wow.
explain, vintage. What do
Okay.
You look like a lunch lady. What's on your head?
It's a hat.
It is
Well,
a vintage.
there are mosquitoes and everything, you know?
Uh-huh.
All right.
It's the flapper
Sorry.
hat.
Explain this one.
Okay. Which one?
Right here, what y'all are doing. Purple and orange, and she's got the little orange bow in her hair.
I got it. So I actually bought some spray paint and we made some stencils. So this was the first time the kids did some spray painting.
Okay, she's cute.
Yeah, she's Nana. She's 8. She's a wild kid. The little boy, that's Kai. He was ridiculous. But that picture is the children's garden. So all of that needs to get weeded. And there are snakes, spiders, bees. That's why the hat. Then in this picture, there are the 3 panels that the kids did. And so the idea is they're on wood. We're going to hang them around the fence. And the blue circle, that's acrylic paint. So that's the Bissell logo sign.
I just see the 2 kids with you.
Yeah, we only had 3 kids. There's Destiny, Kai, and Nana.
Okay,
But
now I see.
yeah, the hope is that we're going to get more kids. So I made friends with another garden by East 180th Street. So I just have to make a flyer. And then hopefully we can get more kids to come in.
These are pretty.
Thank you.
This art is pretty.
Yeah, they had a lot of fun. And I was actually surprised because Nana was ready to start gardening. I brought gloves and she was just really excited. Because there's something really satisfying, especially for kids, to get your hands dirty and you just rip stuff out of the earth. So it was really fun. And the hope is that, so Bissell is made up of 5 gardens. There's a propagation area, the children's garden, which is that gazebo, Teresa's Way, Giuseppe's, and Food for Others. So the children's garden, unfortunately, is completely overgrown.
Yeah.
So the hope is that we could just make it nicer. So maybe we could even do like barbecues or something.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be a good draw. Do a barbecue with hot dogs and stuff.
Yes.
Very, very good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Nana's looking forward to coming by. Sorry, just dropped something on my computer. And my friend, her niece Coraline is also going to come. So
very good.
Next Saturday, hopefully, I'll have more pictures for you.
Thank you for sharing. I was looking forward.
We didn't see any of the pictures though.
I was just showing them.
No, they didn't come through online.
They didn't show?
No.
I can email them to you if you want.
I was just scanning them and none showed.
Nope.
Are you kidding me?
Nope. Vintage was describing and we didn't see any of them. So I was like, oh, okay.
There's a glare. You won't be able to really see it. I mean, before I called in, I definitely saw the pictures while you were zooming them in, so I was able to see it.
Yeah, we saw those ones, but the other ones, when you were describing them, they didn't show up on the screen.
Oh, next time.
Well, yeah. I only had 4.
Hang on. Should have sent you 6. Yeah, there's 6.
Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me try again. Lord have mercy. So, how do you feel about the conversation of? Oh, there's more.
Re Re-engaging into society.
Well,
Geez, I don't.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm a very friendly person, so everyone in my neighborhood knows me. So it's not crazy anxiety. But when I had to ride the train to go to Brooklyn and I hadn't gotten my second shot, there was that anxiety riding the train to get the supplies. But everything's fine. If anything, New York City is just depressing because it's so empty.
Can y'all see me now?
Yeah.
Yes, now we can see them.
Okay, I'm gonna blow it
So
up. Well, if I
So
blow it up,
that
I can't see.
is that Nona?
that's Destiny.
Oh,
Okay, now can you see this one?
Yes, that's the garden.
What about this one?
yep. Vintage, two youngins on
So
a footpath.
that's me teaching Nana how to spray paint. So we did some stenciling. I was actually just looking for the pieces.
And there is vintage again with Nana and that little boy
Yep.
in the garden, and I see that butterfly bush in the background. Isn't that called something special?
Well, we call milkweed. That's specifically to
Oh,
attract the monarch butterfly.
oh, I thought it was a butterfly bush or a
Oh,
hydrangea.
it might be a hydrangea. Bissell, we've got 2 fig trees. We have a golden raspberry bush, strawberries. I don't know how many different kinds of tomatoes. So, and it's really funny because when I had the 2 kids there, Heather wanted to poach them. Like, oh, why don't you come weed over on this side? Like, it was really funny.
But you're right; it needs to be safer. It is overgrown.
Uh, yes, everyone was completely annihilated by mosquitoes.
And then
Well,
this, I love this one.
Yeah.
is there a pond area near, like in the gardens?
No, but the Bronx is very swampy. And
Ah,
uh, Bissell Gardens is actually at the dead end. And it's at the last stop of the 2 train, which is really cool because I love trains. Um, but yeah, it's very swampy.
Oh, I want to know about the temperatures in Canada. Are they getting any better?
we're at least in central Canada. We're in the high 20s, low 30s with humidity.
And that
Out where,
means what?
1 sec, let me do the conversion again.
20, that's like
Say,
100 degrees
I keep
Fahrenheit.
forgetting to
I
Fahrenheit.
think it's 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
86.
Oh, 86?
That's about 86 with humidity. Where Shan is in Vancouver in the Pacific Northwest, because they're in that type of heat dome or heat bubble, they're like hitting the 42, which is 42C is, one moment, like they're like 105, 108, and they are
What?
just not used to it.
No, that's terrible.
Yeah, they don't have, like, not everybody there has like a basement, like a downstairs cold cellar or basement to go to. Air conditioning is rarely, like, people really never have it, a lot of them, because it never really gets that hot out there because you're near the ocean and the mountains. So yeah, Shan is melting literally. Like, she sent me a photo. It was 42 to see in her home, and 42 is like 100 and some odd inside the house.
Vancouver. I thought Vancouver was supposed to be cool.
It normally
Usually
is,
is.
but this is also hitting like Seattle, Portland, like the Pacific Northwest of the US as well. Like that area that normally doesn't get that type of heat is being hit hard.
Diana said almost 500 dead from heat in British Columbia.
Yep. Because if you grew up there, you just would not used to it. It's just, yeah, Like, I mean, it's hitting 50,
Wow,
which is,
that's crazy.
yeah. And remember, we're supposed to be the land of ice and snow. 50 is like 122 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Like it's just the country is not used to that type of heat for that long. Like we're not there. I think they're going into day 4, and
80
that
in Toronto, is that unusually humid?
no, that's usually fine for coming into summer. We're for especially heading into July. Yeah, the 80s, mid 80s is normal. It's just that we're getting hit with a lot of rainstorms and humidity, which makes it feel
Like
worse.
yeah.
But here, most people will have AC or a portable AC or something like that because we want to be comfortable for the few weeks that we get it. But out west, no, they are not used to that type of weather. They are known for being temperate. And, I mean, we have rainforests in BC.
Yeah.
So they're used to a far more temperate climate, far more, there's always a breeze or cooling off.
Yeah, I have family in Calgary, and I don't think any of them have an air conditioner because
Yeah,
it's so cold there.
Yeah, but it's not that cold there now.
Yeah, apparently, geez. Like it was hot today, but
it gets hot and humid in Georgia, period, every summer.
But the thing is, if you grow up getting used to it, it's like you kind of expect it. The people out west and in the Pacific Northwest don't expect to get hit with something like this for that many days in a row.
Yeah.
So it's really taking it out on all of them. I mean, I think I heard somebody say that all the hotels are booked because people leave their homes to go to the hotels because they have a lot of AC.
Yeah.
But they're all booked. So can you imagine paying for a home in the expensive Vancouver and then having to pay to go to a hotel just to get some relief?
I know. Shannon Van's in the chat. We're talking about you and thinking about you, girl.
Yeah. Like literally, I asked Shannon, I go take a lukewarm shower. She goes, the water coming out of the cold is even warm. Like the taps are warm. That's how hot it is out there.
I told her to go get ice packs.
Yeah. That's wild.
Or make them in the freezer and just take them out. Like use a Ziploc if you don't have anything and fill it with water. Or make a Ziploc and make it like Kool-Aid with some booze, freeze it, and then that way when it melts, you can drink it.
Or just do an ice bath, put your bags in the bathtub and just run the water and quickly just soak yourself.
I also want to, saying prayers and keeping everybody there in my thoughts because of the high heat index. But I also want us to think about the people that in Florida where the collapse happened on the condos.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because that's just bizarre. Oh.
Well, yeah, that freaked me out because I only live on the second floor in my condo unit, and I'm in one that has 30 stories, so I can just imagine. Especially with it pancaking.
I mean, it doesn't even take the whole condo. That's just what's so weird.
Wait, it just collapsed? Like the foundation just collapsed one day? No impact?
I'll show you. Hold on a second if it'll show it. I hate commercials so much.
Is that what we're listening to?
Yeah, Paul Rant. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Anyway, at 3 o'clock in the morning, you see this condo, how part of it's all stable?
Yeah.
One section of the condominium complex, one whole wing of it, just pancaked and collapsed at 3 o'clock in the morning.
That is...
While people were sleeping.
Wow.
Now, they said it had something to do with the rising water table of seawater seeping into, I guess, the concrete rods in the foundations.
Yeah, like the foundation started to get soggy, and then
See right
wow,
there? And one family was literally, see where my arrow is?
yeah.
One family was literally in that unit right there.
Oh my
So
gosh,
their daughters were sleeping right beside where it collapsed.
that's devastating.
And they were from Jersey. So yeah, I mean, can you imagine? I cannot even
No,
imagine.
no. Um, and I lived in Japan, so I've been around a couple of earthquakes and seen buildings just collapse. That's horrifying.
Oh God, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, my heart goes out to the victims. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't if there's faulty foundation, doesn't someone have to check the building every now and then to make sure, it's not like black mold or
Well,
Well,
it's like
what?
Diana said in April, they said that it needed repairs and would cost about $15 million.
Yeah, they knew that there was something that had to be repaired.
I'm
Yeah.
offended. I'm offended. You don't play with human life like that. Like, don't own a building if you can't reinforce it.
Well, I'm not going to tell you what's going on up north of the border because you'll really either get very depressed or very mad.
Oh
I'm
no,
What's
always
happening up here?
now you've got to
bring
tell
it.
me.
Well, you do know that in the past that they used to have residential schools where they took indigenous children to, correct?
I don't
Yeah.
like where this is going, but yes.
Yeah, so um, you may want to plug your ears, Vintage.
Oh,
Okay. What they have found, and they found a third site where they're using ground penetrating radar. The
what?
first
Sorry.
Vintage, I don't think you want to hear. Okay.
Okay.
They found the remains of 215 children in unmarked graves in the first site. They found the remains of 751 children in unmarked graves in the second site. And recently today, they found another site beside a old residential school of 171 children.
Where was this?
Two are in BC and one is in Saskatchewan. And now it's extremely sad. It's a major issue going on up here. And it's causing a lot of pressure for the government to finally honor the truth and reconciliation agreements that were put forth.
Isn't this
And
like all about Louis Riel? Like the
no,
Indigenous War of Canada?
no. This is dealing with that. Those are Métis. Métis children were involved as well.
Okay.
And it's extremely, it's something of a wound that had a festering bandage being covered up that's finally been removed. And it has to be removed and it has to be confronted.
Wow.
And there's about 170 residential schools that have to be investigated. So this is just the beginning and the tipping point. So that's the big thing going on up here. And I think if anybody would like, send some love and light to those, families that have lost people, because it could be their aunts or great aunts or uncles or cousins or so forth. Because this was something that went on from the late 1880s till about 1977, 1978, maybe even longer. I'm not sure.
Wow.
Oh, Shan, did you want the link to come up? Shan may have more info.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
So that's what's happening up here, and it's going to probably be a far more horrific findings going forward.
Diana says, my friend was taken from a reservation in Manitoba and adopted out to a family in Seattle where they made her change her name and birth date.
That's horrible.
Could you drop? Could you drop
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah,
link? I
yeah.
think Sean, yeah,
I'm
shared the link.
sorry. I
But
had a bit of brain
I
damage.
don't want to bring anybody down, but I mean that's happening up here. So if you hear about it, don't be like you heard it here first on Dear Dana.
But I mean, we need to be informative. I want this to be a place that's informative as well. You get me?
Oh yeah,
And
but but I know that some people are very, very sensitive.
Yeah.
That's why I said like this
I'm
isn't
glad you gave the warning. Yeah.
this isn't a pleasant story, and it's not a proud story in our history either.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the U.S. had any type of similar setup to ours when it came to items like that. But I know up here they instituted this type of thing. So
Yeah, it breaks my heart. Okay, I dropped the link, Shan. So, I dropped it for you, my friend. Can you click the link? Click the link. She was not a
Definitely
small child
something.
either when they sent her to the States.
yeah, the purpose of it was they were restricted from speaking their own cultural language, dressing in cultural dress. It was a whole assimilation type thing.
Yeah.
I believe that.
So it's something I think now in the Assembly of First Nations chief was speaking on the news. So they're working with the Canadian Council of Catholic Bishops, and they're setting up. They have an invitation to go to the Vatican in December where they'll meet the Pope, because one of the things that they want is to have the Pope come over and formally apologize
Ugh.
to the survivors. So, if you are a Catholic out there and you're a Canadian and you belong to your parish, I suggest you raise the issue with your local priest and higher.
I'm bringing up Shan now. Hello, Shan.
Hey, everybody. Hey,
Hey, Shan.
Vintage.
Hey, Shan.
Hey, I love Vintage. Hey, JC, I just obviously had to come up. And Dana, I'm sorry if we're kind of like pushing you too long. Are you okay for a couple minutes?
No, I'm fine.
You're the best. Okay, JC, two questions I have for you based on everything that you've been telling the audience. As someone who is somewhat practicing Catholic,
I'm a former practicing Catholic.
There we go. Former practice. Oh, okay. How do you feel about the church's involvement? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think that they got to open up the books.
Yeah.
There are records there. And now that this has been brought to light, it's kind of like get to those records before they disappear.
Exactly what I was thinking about the fires to the churches. I'm sure they don't keep everything there, but I'm sure there's.
You there?
You still with us?
Hello?
You there?
No, yeah, you went mute for a minute.
There was a glitch in the
Did I
matrix.
freeze?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so
crap.
Basically, the church keeps records on everything, and the church can also make records disappear. In my opinion only, if it's in a negative light. So does the government, and this is the other thing that they have to start opening up, because they know, and they recorded who went to which residential school. And I think it's the Order of the Sisters of St. Anne in BC have turned over items to the BC Museum and to the Indigenous chiefs there for the items. The other thing is that when the delegation of Indigenous people are going to Rome for the Vatican, it is time for Catholics to actually put their money where their mouth is and start pushing the Canadian Council of Catholic Bishops to use their weight to support them in getting an apology from the Vatican, as well as the government has to apologize, because it is, and they do have a working relationship, but I don't know how strong it is. But yeah, it's, you know what? if you say you have love in Christ, then it's time that you put your money where your mouth is.
Ooh,
Call
yes.
your bishops, call your archdiocese, email them, and start saying it. This has to be rectified, and you have to own up to it. My
Oh my God,
personal
that's such a
opinion.
great idea. Okay, okay. And then my second question is, are you going to celebrate Canada Day tomorrow?
Um, Not in the same way. I mean, what the calls have been is that if you're instead of hanging the Canadian flag, you hang an orange shirt in support.
Oh, I hadn't heard that. That's such a great
Oh,
idea.
that
Okay.
is.
So
Well, thank you so much. I totally didn't want to take over and not focus on Dana's topic, but I heard you speaking about it, and I was like, I need to talk to JC.
no, I know it was just, well, we were talking here because on Friday, we're opening up here finally, so I'm going out, and I'm like, my first thing was, I want to go out, but it's like I'm so comfy at home, and I'm putting up all these excuses, and it's like I'm saying I don't have energy to go out, but I know I want to go out. But it's so nice when I just plug in my computer and see all you guys. Now I got to go meet my other set of friends and go. Yeah,
Yeah,
what do
get
you?
back.
Okay, what are you bringing to the table outside of a beer?
It's funny, like getting
That's
back.
so
Did you
funny.
guys, Vintage and Dana, find like you were almost rusty when you first got back out there?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but I haven't been out that much actually, so not
Okay.
yet. A little bit.
Yeah, and I just hang out with kids, so
But you know what? When we were talking about the news you just said with all the kids and stuff, it is a dawning of the age of Aquarius where things are being brought to light and people are
Ooh.
having to answer for their, you know,
Their
Is it
path.
digression.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
that's
that's so
That's
interesting,
fascinating.
isn't it,
That's really
Vintage?
interesting.
How often
That's
does it occur?
I don't know exactly.
That's so
And
cool, though.
Diana's right. Or wear an orange T-shirt tomorrow.
I've actually went and bought three orange shirts recently. So in case you guys are wondering, like I talked about it in one of my videos, so that's sort of what we're doing. Unfortunately, um, it's a weird thing because I thought it was going to be like a one time we would wear our orange shirts, and then once a year for Indigenous Day. But it seems like every week there's been a new discovery. So you throw out your orange shirt again, right? You throw it back
I
on.
might have to wear it just in honor of period, even though I'm not a Canadian. So
Well,
Oh,
let's
that would be
let's
so
hope
amazing.
who
let
said
let's
don't worry
let's
about it?
no. I'm just saying. Let's hope that if you guys did have a residential school system in the U.S., that it does not follow suit to what's happening up here.
Yeah, I might have to check in on it because I have a funny
It's
feeling.
it's mass genocide is essentially what it is.
Yeah, it is.
yeah,
Yeah,
and the fact that it's such a huge cover up. Uh, do you think the Pope is actually going to recognize it?
I think he
Ugh.
should.
I
If he
think
if
he
he
should.
truly I mean, like as a former practicing Catholic, I went to a Catholic school, altar server, the whole bit. If you want to actually live the scripture that you're preaching, then it's time to ask for your own forgiveness and apologize for your own transgressions.
Yep.
I don't think he's going to have a choice.
You see, but here's the thing. That's why it's important to get the Canadian Council of Bishops on. I put pressure on them because they'll have a certain amount of weight and pull and influence. So always get the influencers, get them in there, and support the people that need our help right now.
Plus,
And
you're
I think
talking
that's
about
even what
children.
Yes.
these children, it's not just, sorry, I know this is going to sound maybe a little bit insensitive, but to me, it's not even just the murders themselves. It's what those children had to endure. It was almost like the ones who were murdered were put out of their misery. These kids would get ripped out of their villages, their towns, their communities, stripped of their hair. The girls would get all of their hair cut. They all had these short little bowl cut kind of things. If they were siblings, they were separated. Um, they were cleared of their language. They were cleared of their food, all their culture, all their customs. They were trying to whitewash them. It's just appalling at what occurred before this mass genocide. I shouldn't say before, but when they were
Yeah.
murdered, they were almost put to peace.
I mean, they basically slowly erased them.
Yep.
I'll see if I can find a link. There is a link that showed where residential schools operated in Canada. And you may be surprised that where you're living may be quite near previous residential schools. I'll see if I can find the link. I'll send it to you on your IG, Shan, as well as you, Dana.
I want to see
It was just an interesting thing that occurred about 6 months ago that I got this link, so I got to find it again.
Yeah,
But it was I didn't even realize that there was one that only operated 70 miles from here, from where I live. Because in our history, there was only a paragraph about it in the entire history book. It was like one little paragraph.
And what about the guy that runs your country? What's his name?
Trudeau.
I mean, I don't think Trudeau would feel okay about this.
No, he doesn't. But you have to remember, his father was in power when these residential schools were still operating. Yeah.
They were up in 1989. Like, think about that. I was part of the school system in 1989. That's not that long ago. I'm not that old. I'm not old as dirt yet. It's not that long ago.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, it was an assimilation tactic that was used. Cultural genocide, they call it.
Wow.
So that's what's going on up here.
So
we have a lot of light we need to shed.
Yes.
People.
And to bring it full circle on your topic, those children were not heard. So we are speaking now for them to be heard.
Yep. Yeah. We have to be their voices.
Yeah. And to bring it around to Dana's topic.
Yeah. But I mean, but that's the only way. That's the old activist in me. It's like, you know what? Phone them, email them, tell your archdiocese, tell your bishops, this is unacceptable.
Yeah, raise awareness.
And you have to own up. You have to do your act of contrition to get forgiven for something like this. And that means, dear old Francis, it's time for you to come over. Take a visit to the Great White North.
That's actually that's a good point. Why isn't he coming here as opposed to them going there? He should come here.
As the chief of the Assembly of the First Nations was explaining, this is the first step, and they're forming a delegation of youth, elders, and knowledge keepers to go and meet with him, along with the Catholic bishops, and to formally invite him to come over to meet the survivors, and hopefully he will say the right words and ask for the right forgiveness in the first step for them to heal. I don't think it's actually a big deal for him to go. That is a small thing for the crime that has happened.
Yeah, that's just
come
optics,
over here and acknowledge.
Optics go sometimes with certain people, optics go a long way, don't you think?
But sometimes you still have to give people what they need. And if this is what the Indigenous people need to start the healing.
Sure. Okay, good point.
Yeah, then I think it's something that should be done. Plus, like I said, as a Catholic and I know as a Catholic, that if you go in to ask for forgiveness, you have to make the wrong right to truly receive cleansing of that sin. So he better step up and start doing what they've always ingrained in us to do during confession. As you can tell, I'm getting on a soapbox. I don't want to be on my soapbox here, so no.
And listen to me.
Yeah.
I never have a problem shedding light on something that's wrong on this channel.
Thank you.
Just so you know.
Thank you for that.
No, thanks. But I just wanted.
What was that?
Who's making out with who?
No, sorry. I sipped something and it went down the wrong. But it's just a very heavy subject. It's a very dark subject.
Yeah.
So that's why it was something that I wanted to, warn people. It's not something pleasant that I'm going to be explaining.
Yeah.
But it's something true, and it's something that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still, I don't know if they can. Your show really does take different paths and turns, Dana.
Yes,
I
it
think
does. But
we should
it's
do a
a
part two
show.
of this, JC.
Yeah, I have to get more information and get some more items as it comes through. So when I do, I'll let you both know. And if you
Yeah.
want to bring it up on either one of your shows, I'm more than willing to share what I found out or what I've heard.
Maybe it should be the goal to see if we can find a way to make a difference about it.
I love that.
Well, I know in the Archdiocese of Toronto, the head of it has issued somewhat of an apology, but again, it's in every corner of Canada, wherever there's an archdiocese, I say speak up and put some pressure on them. Say it's time that you step in line and support the Indigenous group that's going, and also, you know, speak to the Pope and tell him this is what we need to heal here.
Yeah.
Don't be help, don't hinder is what I would. This is the message I would send to the Canadian bishops.
Right.
Because there was one pastor that made some very inappropriate comments in their sermon, and he's now resigned.
Oh.
Yeah, that's another thing that happened out in Mississauga at the Church of the Merciful Redeemer. And I'm like, well, you're not really living up to the church's name.
I was gonna say that's an ironic name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a whole other thing. I'm not gonna bring anybody down now. It's like I think I've done that enough.
Well, now I want to ask the Americans a question, if you don't mind, real quick, Dana. Sure, you're trying to, it's late for you, but with everything that's happened in the U.S. for the past year, are you guys going to be celebrating the 4th of July? Is there a movement against it like there is here?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. But in my neighborhood, people just blow off fireworks in the street.
Yeah.
So it's not like I could even get away from it. America!
I mean, I think that people around here just want to celebrate the fact that there are shots and they're getting some semblance of freedom from the pandemic. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We all agree the government's a mess, period.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
up,
Thank you
down,
so much for
right.
having me.
It didn't matter which president we have, it's a mess.
Yeah, it's not even just the politics to me that look like from here.
What now?
It's not just the politics. Like from here, from what we see or what I see on the media, it's not just the politics that are a mess there. So that's why I was wondering, like, in the past
there's
year,
all kinds of things that are mess.
There is so much hate right now.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't disagree, but the problem is you have to fix it person by person almost.
Wow.
See, I honestly thought that all that would have died down when he who shall not be named was not reelected.
Right.
Okay.
But it's bigger than that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Or
It's
like the
bigger
damage
than
is already
that, and
done,
it's
or
smaller than that. You get me?
Pandora's box was opened already.
America!
America. But you know what? In all honesty, I think the majority of Americans have good hearts.
Yeah.
The majority of Americans are not haters. The majority of Americans are just, basically decent working people. Yeah, you got your 1%ers that are, elitist, whatchamacallits. But the majority of Americans, I don't believe the majority of Americans think that way.
It's easy to make assumptions about what you're getting on TV or on this or that or the other. But, if you didn't use your own brain, you would assume everybody from Georgia is like Angela on 90 Day Fiance.
Aren't they? No, I'm totally kidding.
Or everybody from the Bronx is Joe from Facts of Life.
Oh God.
Is that where she's from?
Yeah, the Bronx.
That's
That's
hilarious.
where Joe was from. That's hilarious.
And I'm from Georgia. I'm not Angela.
You're not Angela with dark hair? You're not like a distant cousin? Obviously. Well, that's almost like what Sutton said on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, like that being a Southerner I think she feels that she has like a stereotype as well.
Yeah, I mean, people assume often that people from the South are uneducated, stupid rednecks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a redneck. I'm not stupid. I'm not uneducated.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. I just have a Southern accent. And even my accent is different than Angela's.
Big time.
True. Don't worry. I know you love getting on a motorcycle vintage and just taking off in
I
your
was-
leathers and
I
just
was
driving.
I was just thinking about that, because I always
Vintage
had
and
a-
leathers. Yes.
But JC's right. Most people, when you come to America, most people are good and nice.
You know what
You
I
have
find they are? They're very like friendly, which sounds strange. Like when I first like realized that, I was like it's almost like have really nice courtesies. Like how do I
Really?
explain it? Yeah, I know, right? Like I didn't think I'd feel that way, but it's like
Whenever
it's
I go to
different of the
Canada, I'm
stereotype.
always surprised by how forthright and hospitable Canadians are.
I find it weird sometimes how hospitable we are. I'm not. I'm the exception.
I find it adorable.
Well, I think that was one thing from Britain we all inherited. You cannot make your your guests feel bad.
True.
But I mean, you
Stereotypes.
have isolated groups that are always focused on in the media.
Correct. Yes.
And we
But it
have
depends what you watch.
we have smaller bands of them up here.
True.
So
We're
there
not
you
exempt
go.
from it. We're not exempt from that either up here.
But everybody tries to find the opportunity to celebrate something. So the fireworks will be going off for
Okay.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
We have
Well, that's good. Have a
fireworks
little joy, right?
stores. We have fireworks stores.
Oof.
Nice.
Well,
Why'd you say oof?
oof. No, I think we'll hear fireworks, but there's nothing really official going on. I mean, because of it, just coincidence that because of COVID, a lot of things were canceled.
I don't know about official. I know people will be blowing them up though.
Yeah,
so-
I know people, and they're illegal here. But there are a bunch of cops that live in my neighborhood. No cop cars are ever around in my neighborhood on the 4th of July. Just lots and lots of fireworks.
Well, you can't arrest your. They don't want to arrest your family for shooting off fireworks when,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's true. But it's like the one day of the year police forget that there's a quota for tickets.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And public drinking. You can't even find an officer on the 4th of July.
Because they want to participate.
But I will tell you one thing, Vintage and Dana. I love U.S. bars because they Freeport.
That's funny.
Oh my god.
It's the truth. You tip your bartender well, you tip your server well. Trust me, the drinks you're going to receive are going to be real drinks.
That is so true.
I think what I love about America is like how many of you guys there are. Like it's crazy. Like your population is enormous. So there's like just every kind of person.
Well, that's because everybody comes to America.
America.
Well, Shan, we have every type of people up here too. We just
But
have
there's
it
just
at
more.
11%.
There's just more.
Well, we have only 11% of the population and 1.5 times the land mass.
And it's like we're like rabbits. We're like rabbits here.
I was going to say rabbits.
Let's get it on. I'm just
Well,
kidding.
I don't know. It's just it's dense. It's Canada, but it's Canada on steroids.
Yeah,
in every
maybe.
way.
Yeah,
Like in
rabbits.
every way, in the media, in the food, in the population, in everything is amped up.
I am not turning down a big old dessert. I don't care where it's coming from, okay? Just saying.
Well, on that note, my motor's running down, and I think I need some food.
Well, thank you for letting us being heard, and thank you for letting us voice those that have suffered to be heard.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. I think we need to have more of these nights where we are heard and we bring different things to the table. I'm going to research around here actually to see what I can find out.
Well, I'll see if the link that I have also encompasses the US, but I know it did encompass Canada, but I will send it to you once I'm able to dig it up again, because it was very interesting what I found out in my own local area about what,
Right.
like who the first, like the indigenous people that were here and what residential schools operated
Yeah.
in our area. So,
Yeah,
Well,
awesome. Well,
and
thanks for
I,
having me, Dana. And it was so good to see you, Vintage and DC.
and
Always great
thank
to
God
meet
you're
you.
finally getting some relief from the heat,
yes.
Woo!
especially when you showed
Have a
me
really
that it
good
was
sleep and get back
105
tomorrow.
in your home.
That's
Oh.
crazy.
And I talked about giveaways at the beginning of the show, so I won't repeat that. But
Okay.
I love you all. So it was giveaways for, I guess I will repeat it, for um, guided meditation, and I'll do drawings for guided meditations for everybody that's a sub and a
Wow.
subscribe. And but I'll do it on Zoom, and then I'll see my brain's getting tired now, and
That's okay. Okay.
I'll do drawings for hypnosis and drawing for potential reading.
So don't forget,
Amazing.
put your name in the comments to
Yes,
be eligible.
thank you, JC Bear.
And don't forget to like and subscribe, share, and tell your friends and family to come over on Wednesday nights, have a glass of wine or their favorite drink, and join us.
Yes, Wednesday or Saturday. Yes,
Oh, yes, Saturday. Sorry, I forgot Saturday.
yes, but
Our
I do
days are
think
all mixed up.
yes, I do think we need to have more of these conversations where we share about different things and bring light to the surface.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever's in darkness will eventually have to come to the light.
And remember, your vibe attracts your tribe, always. I'm so humbled and grateful that you all are here, and I will see everybody on Saturday night.
Bye.
Bear hugs. Keep safe, everyone.
And Winnie, thank you for being up here too.
Bye.
Bye. I always
Ciao.
want to call her Winnie the Pooh. Love you all. Thank you, and I'll see you Saturday night. Take care. Please share, like, and subscribe. Bye-bye. And we are out. Take it easy. Thank you for coming to Dear Dana.